All right, we are live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today we got a lot to talk about in our live stream. This is one of the craziest weeks in crypto that we've seen in a very long time. There's a lot that we need to talk about today. It's our live stream we did last week. We're going to look at that. We're going to check out the crypto markets, talk about what to look for in the next week ahead, and also into 2023 as we round this, end of the year into next year, because 2023 is going to be a big year for Web 3.0. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory. On this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to master blockchain step by step start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so we got people jumping in the chat here. Let's see, we got, what is it? Ishing Oracle. Hope I'm saying that right. Let me just change my settings here so I can actually see all the chats in real time here. THX like this. All right, let's just see if this, see if YouTube actually starts showing my video to the feed here. Looks like it's starting in kind of slow. Tebo, I'm saying that right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Jay Lee. See here, Jeff. Awesome. All right, so let's jump into this. Let's talk about one of the craziest weeks for crypto that we've seen in a long time, and some things we need to know about this. We've seen a lot of stuff come out. So, 2022 has been an absolutely crazy year for the crypto space. The market's been really bearish all year. We've seen a ton of, tides change for the crypto space. We've seen a lot of stuff really cool off in the past several months, in particular because, when, the industry kind of gets quiet like this, there's less kind of things to pay attention to. But last week, it sort of seems like a bunch of stuff happened all in one go. And I want to focus on all that. We've got a bunch of crazy stuff. FTX has been a huge story this year. We have seen Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX get arrested. What that means, we saw former President Donald Trump drop his NFT collection. A bunch of big updates come out that are, laying the foundations for the next wave of blockchain adoption, particularly with a bunch of particular projects in the space. So I want to talk about those for sure, because that's a huge implication for 2023. We had a big meeting come out last week with the Federal Open Market Committee that's sort of setting the tone for what's next in the crypto market. So much to talk about. So let's go ahead and jump into the first, thing here. So I put this on my Twitter the other day, talking about, 2022 has been a crazy year for crypto. So many things that have happened that defied many people's expectations, but definitely one of the main things that was not on my bingo card, for 2022 was former President Donald Trump launching an NFT collection. Okay. This is pretty crazy for lots of reasons. It goes without saying. One of the craziest reasons is definitely that we've seen, former President Trump, fairly critical of technology like Bitcoin, for example. And then here we also see, the launch of the Trump NFT collection, which dropped last week. So the 45 collection, 45,000 Trump trading cards launched, I believe, on the Polygon blockchain here. That sold for, $100 a pop. So basically, we're talking a $4.5 million NFT drop in one day. But what do these NFTs do? Okay, because, one way you can sort of stand back and think, oh, this is kind of silly, right? Just like you can with pretty much any NFT collection. But this is actually out of the playbook for NFTs that we've seen with other creators in the past that have now bubbled up to a mainstream, use case here. All right, so it's like you got to kind of think about this in two perspectives. One, it's definitely, kind of funny. The other is definitely, though, that this is not going to be the last mainstream person to do this because, like I said, we've seen this actually work with other things in the past. So basically creating an NFT collection around a community where that NFT actually gives you access as a member of that community to sort of either the head of the community or other rights and privileges into this. So, we've been talking for a long time on this channel about how NFTs are a unique way for brands to essentially engage back with their community and give them benefits where you get more value out of being in that community in and of itself. Okay, and essentially at this point, Trump, like, this is a brand, all right? We're seeing the benefits of sort of buying into that brand and the access that gives you, okay? So the reason I bring that up is because we're already starting to see more, brands start to use NFTs and integrate them into their tribes, so to speak, to give them these types of benefits. I mean, just last week, or the week before that, we also saw about how Starbucks is starting to use NFT, points in their loyalty program. A major brand like Starbucks. Okay, so we're starting to see this trend of brands really pick up on this, start to do this, and see what sticks. And this is laying the foundations for a snowball effect that can have lots more people do the exact same thing. So, anyways, that was a huge example of something that came out of left field in terms of crypto adoption. I mean, say what you want to about Trump, say what you want to about him dropping an NFT collection, but I'm looking at this the bigger picture and saying, okay, Starbucks, Trump, we're seeing these other brands do this. Okay, definitely seeing NFTs start to bubble up more into the mainstream here. Because this is not just a crypto like insiders thing. That's one of the reasons this is actually important, is it's, somebody who's been critical, a brand that's been critical of certain crypto adoptions in the past, okay, but has actually seen the benefit of using this as a fundraising tool, but also a community building tool itself, so it's a win-win at that point. So definitely something you got to pay attention to, regardless of how you feel about Trump or this particular NFT drop. So next major thing, of course, we did see the arrest of Sam Bankman-Fried, okay, last week. Again, I used to do these live streams Monday through Friday on this channel. We kind of went down to one stream per week because, this space has just gotten quieter ever since, 2022, because it goes without saying, 2022 has been 2022. But, there's so much to talk about this week, so much to catch up since last week. I know it sort of feels like this SBF arrest was ages ago, but really it was, basically just like 6 days ago. So let's kind of get into that, why it's important. So in case you've been living under a rock, right, Sam Bankman-Fried, the former CEO of FTX, right, was arrested in the Bahamas just last week. So of course SBF has been, one of the biggest, the FTX blow has been one of the biggest, disasters of the entire crypto space in 2022, because it was one of the largest exchanges. All the funds just went lost basically overnight. Couldn't get money back. And then, SBF is on their Twitter Spaces and doing all these live appearances, just yakking, while he really should have probably been in custody. But, last week, we did see him taken into custody into the Bahamas. So what are the details about this? What is important? Okay, so first of all, the good news is it looks like a lot of the FTX blow up and the aftermath behind that, and having some resolution with SBF getting arrested, is kind of putting the FTX fiasco in the rearview mirror mostly. All right, it's really hard to patch up all the contagion risk that happens, whenever that type of thing happens, because with the crypto space, it's kind of incestuous, for lack of a better word, and sometimes those blow-ups that happen with different relationships can take a long time to iron themselves out. But this is kind of putting some closure on this, all right, because for so long people were like, hey, this FTX thing was a huge stand in the industry, and this dude just basically getting away with it, okay? And so that's a good step in the next direction. Now the question is, we don't exactly know what type of sentence he's going to get, but what we do know in the short term is that last I've seen, again, no legal expert, but what I've seen from the reporting is basically that he's being held till I think February, and a jail in the Bahamas, at least from the pictures I've seen floating around on Twitter, doesn't look like the cushiest place in the world to hang out for 2 or more months. You know what I mean? So, anyways, he's definitely on lockdown as far as we can tell. Now, we'll have to see what happens in court. You know what I mean? Again, we're over into the justice system at this point. Hope that justice is served in this case and let them handle it. But, there's lots of people that are like, he's going to get away with it. He's going to get out. He's going to get some reason to get off bail. He's going to have the best lawyers in the world, blah, 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 blah. And then find some way to, get a slap on the wrist, and then he'll just be back at it again. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I want to try to be as optimistic as I can in this case. Justice can potentially be served. So, let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Are we actually going to see some, is the justice system going to work in this case? Is it going to completely fail? Is he going to get a slap on the wrist and basically walk away? You let me know what you think. Somebody says, I hope no one here lost any funds with FTX. Yeah, me too. But statistically, probably a good number of people watching this video lost some money in FTX. I didn't personally lose any money with FTX. I try to be very careful throughout my entire, YouTube career to caution people against centralized exchanges. Not that I never use any centralized exchanges. It's just sort of a get in, get out sort of thing. Do what you need to. Not hold money on them. Okay. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not really an active trader for, with anything significant. So that's another reason I don't really use FTX that much. But an important thing is I did really steer clear of all the sponsorships, in the past 2 years from a lot of the big, DeFi, companies, right? There aren't DeFi at all. Things like BlockFi, Celsius, FTX. I was approached by multiple of these people. I talked to some of them and they couldn't give me good answers as to why the user funds would be safe or where the yield was coming from. So I basically just said no, right? So again, not saying that to toot my horn or anything like that, but I'm just giving you full transparency, what the situation was in the past couple of years and why I chose to do what I did. So that, if you're still with me, whenever, we start to see some green candles back on the chart again, you'll kind of know where I'm coming from. Some pretty funny comments in the chat there. Okay, so let's talk about some big technological innovations that happened over the past week that are big for the crypto space. Again, NFTs continuing to bubble up into the mainstream is definitely a positive for this space. But let's talk about some tech integrations and innovations, I should say, that popped up over the last week that you want to pay attention to. All right, so the first major one is PayPal integrating with Metamask. Okay, so what is this? Why is it important? So, Metamask is by far the most popular wallet that people use whenever they're connecting to the blockchain, particularly a web browser, okay? And of course, PayPal is a major payment, processor, right? PayPal is early to support crypto of the major payment processors, letting people buy Bitcoin in their PayPal wallet. Initially, you couldn't withdraw it, but then they added withdrawals later. Okay. So what's the big deal? So one of the biggest, this is ultimately solving a problem of user experience in crypto. Right now, sort of the regular path for people when they get into crypto is that they have to set up an exchange account like FTX, right? Or Binance or Coinbase or Kraken, whatever it is, Gemini. And then they have to submit their ID information, KYC on the exchange. We connect a bank account, maybe provide some debit card information, credit card information, buy some crypto, export it off the exchange. Yeah, that's what it's called withdrawal, right? But some people say weird stuff if they're complete noobs. And then send it to their Metamask wallet, and then they can use, blockchain technology. They can use Dapps, they can use Uniswap, whatever, right? So that's a big problem for Web3 onboarding, let's call it that. So, I've always talked about there's a huge opportunity here to reduce this friction and make it a lot easier for people to, onboard into the Web3 ecosystem. So that's ultimately what's happening here is, Metamask is the most popular Ethereum wallet. PayPal is a trusted payment processor. Now, say what you want to about, PayPal. A lot of people who are maybe PayPal merchants who have had funds locked or maybe some bad customer support, problems with PayPal in the past. That's beside the point, right? It sucks if that happened to you. But what I'm trying to say is it's still seen as a trusted entity by lots of people, okay? So basically the idea is if you want to use an app, all you got to do is install Metamask, and then inside Metamask, you just quickly add a card, and then you've got funds into this ecosystem, and boom, you're ready to go. What that is saying is if you landed on a decentralized application page, instead of saying, hey, go register for an exchange and then go over here and install this. What if it's just one click? You've got a one-click install link for Metamask, and then boom, all you got to do is add your card inside of Metamask with PayPal, and then you can fund it and you start going onboarded in less than a minute, right? That's huge. So that's a huge part of, moving Web 3.0 in the next direction. Now, the catch with this is, my understanding now is that this is for MetaMask Mobile. Okay, MetaMask Mobile. So that's talking about mobile onboarding experience. What I would love to see is this actually integrate with MetaMask desktop support, because right now a lot of the trading, all the NFT buying, et cetera, happens from desktop using on-chain dApps. I would love to see basically people be able to install a Chrome extension and then put in their card information, and then boom, they got funds ready to go. That doesn't look like this is happening just yet, but if MetaMask has this partnership with PayPal and they're able to start on mobile, it could just be a matter of time before this thing gets integrated into, the desktop version as well, so that people can just, one click interact with inside their web browser. So that's a huge step in the right direction. So another is this, okay? So another is this. So this looks like it's not directly related to crypto on the surface, okay? But it has a potential bearing on the crypto space. Okay, so Apple to allow outside app stores an overhaul spurred by EU laws. So I don't keep track of all the political and legal stuff that's going on with this, but I'm going to summarize this. If I get some of the details wrong, feel free to fact check me down in the comments. Okay, I'm not trying to know exactly what's going on here in terms of legal perspective, but basically, the high level problem is this. Apple basically has had their single app store on their device. Okay, only way you can install apps is on that device, right? Through that app store. And there's lots of rules about what you can and can't do in your apps if you distribute it through the app store. Okay, and then here we're seeing laws in the EU that's basically saying like, hey, it's a problem. All right, so we're going to say that you have to allow essentially more app stores. I think that's what it says, okay? But the whole point here is, looks like we're moving in the direction of potentially more app stores available, on iOS devices. Now, what's this got to do with crypto? Well, right now, there's lots of rules and regulations around what you can and can't do inside the App Store, like I was saying before, and like fees that are associated with that, et cetera, et cetera. So if we see new app stores pop up that are more crypto-friendly, like we might see more crypto applications built for the iPhone, okay, which could be huge, all right? And so, one of the things that really made, Web 2.0 kind of flourish and take off was mobile. Right. So, I mean, the transition from Web 1.0 to Web 2.0 is pretty broad, right? Mostly it's moving from static websites and like email, to basically like, database-backed applications where people can sign up, create usernames and passwords, and do stuff and contribute to the web to make it more valuable, right? Social networks, but mobile is definitely a part of that, towards kind of the middle part of that life cycle. And then mobile first, more and more user activity is trended towards mobile. People do a large majority of their online shopping on mobile, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And then essentially crypto can be the same thing. We've seen MetaMask roll out PayPal support for mobile, but if we see more app stores, start to have mobile first experiences for crypto and less of, sort of Apple's, tentacles around that particular process, that's a potentially big win for crypto space. So that's something to watch out for. And also, this could potentially be an opportunity for developers. A lot of people are saying, I don't really want to support, iOS for these reasons, developer. But if this opens up as an opportunity, you got iOS skills, you got Web 3.0 skills, or even if you don't, it could be a good thing to learn. Now, I'm not saying go down that. No, don't stop everything you're doing and go all in on that till we get full clarity on what's going to happen here. But it could be a good opportunity for developers. All right, so let's take a look here. A couple other things. So really quickly, one quick announcement, piece of housekeeping is, we are down to one stream per week now on this channel. We used to do it 5 days per week. We usually do it Mondays about this time. Okay. One thing though is next week, we will not be live streaming. I'm going to be taking a little break for the Christmas holiday, have a little downtime. So we'll be back in full steam on January 2nd for our next stream. So I just wanted to make sure everybody who's watching, who is a regular viewer, knows that we'll not have a stream next week. Hope you all are able to, power down too. Get your mind off crypto for a little while. Spend some time with friends and family. Yeah. Okay, so another thing from last week, we definitely had another Fed meeting. All right, so what was the deal here? What happened with crypto markets? So one of the big themes for all of 2022 has definitely been what's going on with the central bank of the United States and other Western countries, of course. Really all countries, that have central banks have been kind of following the same policies. Basically, tightening of monetary policy. We hit a brick wall at the end of 2021. Things really kind of went the opposite direction. Big U-turn from an environment of accommodative monetary policy to one of tightening. Okay. And basically, the Fed has been raising rates on a regular cadence all year to try to fight inflation. Again, not trying to be a macroeconomics expert, but it doesn't take a genius to see that inflation's been a problem. And what the Fed's been doing is trying to raise those interest rates to help curb inflation. And it's had a drastic effect on pretty much all markets, stock market, crypto, anything that you could possibly invest your money into has been highly affected by interest rates. So, last week we saw another interest rate hike by the Fed, okay, and markets took a tumble at this news. Okay, so why is that, and what's kind of going on here? So one, I really don't think the markets were taking a tumble because the Feds were raising interest rates. We've had a lot of people expect that this interest rate was basically this interest rate was in their expectations. But I think the thing that sort of surprised the market last week was that the terminal rate, right, where they expect to go, was higher than people's expectations, and that sort of came out during the meeting and the press conference from Chair Jerome Powell after. Okay, so I think that's the thing that really surprised the markets last week. Okay, that caused Bitcoin, other cryptos kind of take a tumble. That's actually 24 hours. Hold on, this is the tumble that I was talking about. This tumble right here, kind of take a tumble. Actually, that's not it either. Let's just find it. Hold on. That's the tumble, and then it kind of began this. That's what I was going for. Sorry, everybody. That's the kind of tumble. I think a lot of it's got to do with the terminal rate being higher. Again, we see overall weakness across all markets. That's not necessarily the reason we continued our downtrend, but I do think that's why we saw sort of it peak out here and then kind of continue on into what we did. So what's going to happen for 2023 in terms of the crypto markets? So I really think, we have to wait and see how high the interest rates actually go. Is the terminal rate going to be a finish line that continues getting pushed off down the road? That's kind of the $1 million question for a lot of people, literally. So we'll see. We'll see. Now, the other thing is, if we get to that terminal rate, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're just going to instantly reverse course and start easing, right? The likely scenario, in my opinion, is that we reach the terminal rate and the interest rates stay high for at least some time, and then start to become more accommodative. Because the Fed, they reiterate the stance that they want to get inflation down to their target of close to 2%, and then we have to wait and see what happens there. So. So Nick thinks the race will be up till 2024. So it says the devs using Chat GPT get paid. Yeah, so we're definitely seeing a ton of stuff blow up with the artificial intelligence, Chat GPT, things like that. Yeah, I've put out a couple videos about that recently. Definitely check this if you haven't already. Yeah, I mean, I think the next a couple of years is gonna be an exciting time for artificial intelligence. People are always worried about, are we gonna lose our developer jobs, all that type of stuff. So it doesn't look like we're there. With the artificial intelligence technology at this time. I'm not saying it couldn't happen in the future, but I honestly don't think we're really close to that either. Like literally being no need for developers. I really don't think we're close to that time. So I mean, you got to think about all the implications of what artificial intelligence could do. Something like ChatGPT is a language model. So like you can tell it to write code, but it doesn't actually check for the accuracy of its own code. Like it doesn't compile it and try to run it, right? So it's not able to really check its own math, so to speak, and it does get some stuff wrong. Now it's cool, but I think the real use case for it right now is multiplying the effectiveness of developers. If you're going to talk about a developer-specific use case, rather than just like completely replacing developers. And I really don't even think we're still that close to it, especially not if you're a good developer. It's amazing, though. It's amazing. Like you got both these things are true at the same time. It's an amazing piece of technology. It's an amazing tool for a developer if you know how to use it accurately. But it's not a silver bullet for being a good developer or replacing good. It's not a substitute for being a good developer. All right, everybody. I'm going to go wrap it up for today. Again, no live stream a week from today. We're taking some time off for the Christmas holiday. Hope you all get to do the same. Spend some time with your family, friends. Hopefully you got some folks around you can enjoy the holidays with. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. It always puts these videos out so the more people can learn about blockchain. And, if you're as fast at this technology, you got some time on your hands for the holidays, hope you get to spend some time with everybody, but now's a great time to double down on your skills. If you got some extra time on your hands, definitely go to my YouTube homepage, check out those free courses I got pinned there. I just put out one last week on Friday, how to clone a blockchain version of GoDaddy to buy decentralized domain names. Pretty awesome. Definitely go check that out if you haven't already. If you like those videos, you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you're taking a master shortcut entirely, I should become a blockchain master from scratch, step-by-step, start to finish, over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You really don't have to be an expert to get started today. Help people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for